Welcome back to the Ross Bolen podcast, presented by Bolen Media. I am your host, Ross Bolen, here today with the man they say was the inspiration for Sir Mix-a-Lot's Baby Got Back, Jared Borislow. J-Bone!
Ross, it's great to join you here on Tuesday, January 24th at 1:10 p.m., according to my now correct computer.
Wow. How about that's called progress, Jared, which is good because do you realize this could be our last episode in the studio together?
That's wild.
We have no way of knowing.
Is it because your child may be born?
Yeah, if my wife goes into labor like tomorrow or whatever, this could be our last episode live in the studio together before you move to Wisconsin. It's entirely possible.
That's wild, but I also like that we don't know for sure whether it's the last one.
Makes you appreciate it even more?
Yeah.
Yeah, but due date is less than 10 days away, dog, so it's happening. The waiting game, by the way, is truly hell. Like, this last month has felt longer than the other 8 combined, and I'm just at the point where as I'm, like, going about my day, I'm like, none of this shit even matters. I'm about to have a human baby I have to care for, and everything else just seems inconsequential by comparison.
Yeah, it has gone by fast. I feel like it was just yesterday. You were telling me every intricate detail of the conception, and now we're here.
I know, right? I think we meant to record that. We didn't turn on the microphones, though. It was a mistake, so we didn't get to share it with the people.
Well, no, we had the backup recording. It's on the $200 tier on Patreon.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. On patreon.com/Ross Bolen podcast, much to the chagrin of my wife. Is that the right word? Chagrin?
See, I actually don't know. Chagrin's one of those words where I don't know when to use it, but like if the situation comes up, I think I can spout it out correctly. But like out of context, I don't know what it is.
It was correct. I'm correct.
What is chagrin?
You're going to have to look it up on your own time because we don't have time to cover it today. But I was correct. I'll just say that.
Okay.
My point is we better make this a good one.
Mm-hmm.
So let's start with a topic we've been discussing since RBP 102 over 400 episodes ago. What do you think it is, Jared? Take a guess.
Shopping carts.
Tim Allen, the rat bastard. If you haven't seen this, Timmy is in the news because I guess here's an insane headline for you. Pamela Anderson alleges Tim Allen flashed her Let me try again. Pamela Anderson alleges Tim Allen flashed his penis at her when she was 23. Here's a story from Variety. In her upcoming memoir, Pamela Anderson details a disturbing incident that took place on the set of Home Improvement in 1991 when she was 23 years old. It says, quote, "On the first day of filming, I walked out of my dressing room, and Tim was in the hallway in his robe. He opened his robe and flashed me quickly, completely naked underneath. He said it was only fair because he had seen me naked. Now we're even."
That's such a Tim Allen joke. This has to be true.
I laughed uncomfortably. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about it that makes it so believable is that you can literally see Tim Allen being like, now we're even.
No, he goes, now we're even.
Yeah, Allen, who was 37 at the time of the alleged incident, was presumably referring to Anderson's modeling for Playboy, which helped turn the budding actress into an internationally known sex symbol. Allen made a statement to Variety. He said, "No, it never happened. I would never do such a thing." At least he responded. Usually in these stories, it'll be like, Tim Allen and his representation have not replied for comment.
I don't like how he said such a thing. That's a weird phrasing. Like, oh, no, I would never do that. Most people would say that. Not such a thing.
What other things fall into that category of flashing?
But he's categorically saying he would never do anything even remotely near that, which I think is false.
Yeah.
If he said I would never do that, I'd be like, you know what? Maybe that's over the line for Tim. But he said he would never do anything remotely like that, which, I don't know, maybe ratting out all of your drug-dealing compatriots is similarly a bad thing to do.
Exactly. It says Home Improvement marked one of Anderson's earliest credits where she played Lisa the Tool Girl in what quickly became the #1 TV series in the United States. Did you watch much Home Improvement growing up?
I was like a rerun on Nick at Night guy for Home Improvement. Didn't watch it live.
Yeah, I can't recall if I watched it live like during first run or if it was reruns, but I did watch a lot of Home Improvement, admittedly.
For Jonathan Taylor Thomas?
Yeah, it was a big JTT guy. You know, it also says she appeared in the first 2 seasons of the ABC sitcom before leaving to focus on Baywatch, which became a global phenomenon exported to 150 countries. And yeah, at this point, I'm just like, can we get a TV father figure that doesn't end up being a sexual predator or a perverted weirdo?
I think Al Bundy, right?
You got Bill Cosby, Tim Allen. Al Bundy was just that on purpose, though. He was like kind of a perv.
I don't think. Well, he was like kind of a perv in the show. I don't think as an actual human that guy's gotten canceled or anything, has he?
Now he's on Modern Family.
What's his name? Al Bundy. I don't even know that guy's fucking name.
His name is Ed O'Neill.
Oh yeah, that guy.
And he seems like a good dude.
He does seem like a good guy.
To my knowledge, he has not been canceled.
Although he's the kind of guy who he always plays like an asshole with a short fuse. So I feel like he's like that in real life, which maybe he's like a really nice, calm guy.
Who knows? But yeah, in all seriousness, I told you in episode 102, Tim Allen is a rat bastard, and flashing your dick at women 14 years younger than you in an effort to even the score because you saw them naked in Playboy is in fact rat bastard behavior.
It is. For people who haven't been listening for the past 4 years, can you like briefly say why Tim Allen is a rat bastard?
I mean, you already said it. He got busted as a cocaine distributor, and in order to avoid a prison sentence, he ratted out everyone below him and above him and all around him, and then went on to have a very successful career in Hollywood as the star of Home Improvement and The Santa Claus, and The Santa Claus Part 2 and 3, and then the TV show they made this past year. I still can't get over the fact that they made a TV show out of it.
I don't get that. But he's the ultimate narc.
Yeah, he is.
There's never been a bigger, because not only is he a narc, he's a narc who, at the expense of everybody put in jail, went on to become worldwide famous.
And but also just like flashing is such like I feel like if you're not under the age of 15, like running around and showing people your dick is a childish thing to do. It's it's a little kid, like a little kid that has some issues act, right?
Like, when does streaking, at what age does streaking go from like, oh, a funny thing you do in your younger years to like, oh, this guy's a sexual deviant?
At the whatever age Will Ferrell was in Old School.
I mean, the actor, he was probably in his 30s at that point,
but he was playing Frank the Tank, who I think was also supposed to be in his 30s. And but I don't know, streaking is a completely different animal though. Streaking is exposing yourself to everyone that might lay eyes on you as you run, which is like, it's not a direct attack. A flasher, that's a direct attack. And that's like, I mean, first of all, if you see Tim Allen in the hallway and he's got a robe on, just run. You've got to know that thing is coming at you, right? Like, that's like, he's Tim Allen. He strikes you as a guy who would flash his cock at you.
Yeah, if you do turn a corner and it's just Tim Allen wearing a robe,
you
in a
run.
hallway, that's like a scene from The Ring.
Yeah, male, female, it doesn't matter. The Ring. Yeah, in that video.
That's all I can picture now.
What if that was in the videotape? You know how they show the videotape and it's like a bunch of bugs in fast motion eating a dead squirrel, and then like the chick coming out of the well, and then it's Tim Allen in a hallway just flashing you real quick? Yeah.
What I realized...
That's scary stuff.
After I said The Ring, I realized I meant The Shining. The girls in the hallway.
Well, that would work too.
But The Ring, it's like even better.
She didn't comment on his penis, which I find interesting.
Oh, she didn't go Stormy Daniels?
Yeah, like a lot of the time lately when you know, with the Stormy Daniels Donald Trump thing, she described his penis in detail. The same thing happened with Harvey Weinstein. These perverts.
They described Harvey's penis?
Yeah, it wasn't good. If you want to read about that, you can Google it. What was Harvey Weinstein's penis like, or what is it like? I guess it's still there in theory. Jared's hands are slowly moving toward the keyboard, and he looks slightly ashamed of it. But yeah, they tend to call these perverts out because there's usually, like, if you're forcing people to look at your penis, there's usually something going on with it. Like, remember Louis C.K.? By the way, he's been making the rounds lately, doing a lot of podcasts, so I'm not really sure if he's promoting something specific. I just noticed he's showing up on my TikTok and my Instagram feed.
And you said that, you know, as I move up to Wisconsin, he's going to be filling in for me sometimes.
Yeah, we'll see about that. But Louis, famously, like, a lot of his best bits were about how weird his dingus is. And then it turned out he was, you know, forcibly showing it to... He wasn't so much flashing as he was flashing and then cranking, which is just a step further in the wrong direction.
Apparently Harvey Weinstein's penis looked like it had been chopped off and sewn back on.
Yeah, I mean, it was like... remember Trump's was like toadstool, right? It was like, she said it was basically like was chodish.
Yeah, it would look like Toad,
but
from Mario.
from Mario Kart, which is not, it's not how you want your penis described at all.
No.
But Weinstein's was a much more damning account. It was that it was like deformed and mutilated.
It said, I didn't really see a full sack. I literally just saw a penis.
Which is, I mean, it's not what you want. But again, there's something to this with these weirdos. So it's surprising to me that Pam Anderson didn't throw some shade at his singular male unit down there, as it were. Because frankly, I just, bless you, Jared, Gesundheit, I just want to know what Tim Allen's penis looks like. That's what I'm saying. If I'm going to have to know that he showed it to Pamela Anderson, which is now a thing, then I would like to know some detail of what it looks like. All of this being said, Pamela Anderson is dropping this memoir. I think it comes out in like 3 days or in the next week or something, this book. That this is partially, like whenever you have a book coming out, if you're a very famous person like Pamela Anderson, you send out copies of it to all the media outlets so that they can read it in advance.
Did you do this when you had a book?
I don't think we did. I just handed copies to people in the street and begged them to read it. And I am assuming, I mean, she, out of all of the people in Hollywood, first of all, she's been out there since she was 23, right? And she very quickly became one of the most famous women on the planet and was for a very long time. And then obviously the very infamous Tommy Lee sex tape event occurred, and that made her even larger and more famous. And out of all the people in Hollywood, you just have to assume she has some of the most absurd and interesting stories possible. So you know that thing's going to the top of the bestseller list.
What's it called?
Love Pamela, I think.
I would have thought it would be something more like a pun or something.
Thanks for making me Google it. You have a computer in front of you, but I'll just
say that.
Yeah, Love Pamela. I was right. I don't need a computer, Jared. I have my brain, which is just as powerful as the World Wide Web.
Is the brain? Yeah, I believe that they say the brain is as powerful as an iPhone.
At least he didn't do the goat. You know.
Well, he couldn't do that because he's never seen her do the goat. He only does things. As he said, he only does things that he's seen.
Well,
from
she
her.
didn't flash her penis in Playboy.
That's a good point.
New sponsor alert. Sound the alarm and listen up. Today's episode is brought to you by Z-Biotics. I know most of you listening right now enjoy drinking when you're out on the weekends, and that's perfectly fine, Jared. But you know what's not fine? The way that night out makes you feel the next morning. That's where Z-Biotics has changed the game forever. Z-Biotics is a probiotic drink that breaks down the byproduct of alcohol that's most responsible for rough mornings after drinking. You simply drink a bottle of Z-Biotics before your first adult beverage. Drink responsibly, of course. And enjoy your evening, get a good night's sleep, and dominate the next day feeling refreshed and ready to take on the world. Z-Biotics is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. This is real science that works. No random plant extracts, no off-the-shelf ingredients. It has been rigorously tested and is FDA compliant for safety. Plus, they have a 100% money-back guarantee if you're not satisfied with the results. A great night out can completely derail the following day. Trust me, I remember. My productivity plummeted on those mornings, and that's why I'm so excited for you all to try Z-Biotics and make sure you've got the tools you need to enjoy your nightlife, but also crush the next day. Get 15% off your first order of Z-Biotics pre-alcohol probiotic by clicking the link in the description of this episode and using my code RBP at checkout, or go to zbiotics.com/RBP and get 15% off your order. That's ZBIOTICS, zbiotics.com/RBP for 15% off your first order, code RBP. And if you're watching on YouTube, you can simply scan the QR code on your screen, by the way. Technology.
The older I get, the less alcohol it takes for me to get hungover. And
that's how it goes typically.
It's so depressing. Like, I can go out and have 2 beers at dinner, and like by the end of the night, before I go to bed, I'm like, I have a headache.
Yeah.
So I got to add more of these things into my life.
Z-Biotics, baby.
Z-Biotics.
Jared, I am wearing an extremely hippie shirt today that says certified tree hugger.
You've been wearing more shirts like this lately that I don't know where you could get them, and they look like they're so fucking weird. I'm just gonna say it.
Thank you, Jared.
It's so weird.
Well, it got me thinking about countercultures, such as the hippies of the 1960s in the United States, or the backy bong ripping Australians of the present day. And countercultures are a fascinating part of human society. So today, I thought we would rank our favorite countercultures, and I will start with my number one out of respect for my shirt today. My number one is the hippies. They're first of all, they're the most famous counterculture that's ever existed, right? They advocate nonviolence and love, a popular phrase of theirs being make love, not war, for which they were sometimes called flower children. All of these are good things to me, popular or positive things to me. They promoted openness and tolerance as alternatives to the restrictions of the regimentation they saw in middle-class society, and I vibe with that. Mm-hmm. And the tree-hugging thing I also vibe with. There's power in a good hug with a piece of fauna, Jared.
So
not a thorn bush, not a rose bush, but a tree.
Mm-hmm. A tree. So you're not putting frat guys as number one?
No, they're not going to be my number one. You know what? They didn't make the list.
No,
they're in the honorable mentions.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you want to hear my other honorable mentions before I get through the rest of my list?
You got to do the honorable mentions.
Here are my other honorable mentions aside from frat guys. Polygamists and polyamorists. Polygamy is the practice of or custom of having more than one wife or husband at the same time, which I find truly fascinating because being married to one person is hard enough work, right, Jared?
I'm not married.
You'll know soon. And having multiple wives or husbands to deal with, frankly, just has to be exhausting.
Yeah, but
you got to give credit to these polygamists.
I feel like it like spreads out the shit, right? Like they're like, okay, I know he didn't do this thing I asked him to do because he's doing the shit she asked him to do.
You think you can just pass the blame constantly?
Yeah,
The buck just keeps on going down the line, so nobody ever gets fried?
You always pin the other two against each other, and then that.
What if there's like four of them? And by the way, is this legal still in Utah? I'm pretty sure if you're like Mormons, don't they do this?
I think so.
That show Big Love on HBO, I remember that. Mm-hmm. I recall it.
Yeah, I don't
That's the
exactly
extent of my knowledge, though.
Understand. I feel like, isn't it always legal? It's just like whether you can get like a marriage license.
That's what I'm saying. Like legally, on a legal level, like I can't marry you right now. I'm already legally married, and if we did do that, then you would be in trouble because you're trying to get legally married in Wisconsin at the end of the year. Mm-hmm. So that's
So why do you like just because
they're just honorable mentions?
You just respect their ability to manage multiple marriages at once?
Yeah, I think that's insane.
Okay.
As a divorced guy that's been remarried now, I have a lot of respect for people who can manage multiple of these things at the same time.
Here's a question: if you're polyamorous and you want to get a divorce, but why would you go through
mixing up polygamists and polyamorous?
Polygamy is the marriage one.
Yeah.
Polyamorous is just multiple
romantic and typically sexual relationships.
So if you're a polygamist, why would you go through all the time and money it takes to get divorced and not just say, hey, I'm still married to you, but like we're not ever going to interact ever again, but we're still married technically. I'm just not going to pay for a lawyer and give you half my shit.
I'm sure that happens a lot, but then the other party in the marriage is like, no, fuck you, I'm getting a divorce and files. I assume.
Yeah, I guess because then, like, if you're still married, I guess you still share. Yeah, how does it work to share stuff? What if you get divorced from both your wives at the same time? Do you get a third and they each get a third? Then you're fucked. Then you have a third of your original shit.
That's the other piece of the puzzle here. Is it seems like risky business?
Yeah.
Like you go through a divorce, you can get taken for everything you've got,
right?
And that's with one person. Yeah. What the fuck? You got like 3 wives and they all want a piece? It's gonna get ugly.
Do you give away?
You end up with nothing.
Do they split half, or do you just get fucked and you have to keep giving half to each person?
I mean, there's no one straight up across the board, here's how the split works law. That's the problem. It's like they can argue for whatever they want to argue for being, the value they need to extract from that marriage. But I don't know how that works with polygamy. That's, it has to be complicated, though, I imagine.
Okay, do you think that there's a rumor that in South Austin there's a neighborhood full of polyamorous people? It's not yours, at least as far
What do you mean
as
a rumor?
Is it true?
Where'd you hear the rumor?
Oh, you hear about things.
Do you?
Yes.
Where? Out at the bar?
No.
Did you get approached?
No.
Did somebody touch you?
So
Did Tim Allen flash you his penis?
No, I didn't know. You just hear things. I've lived here for 7.5 years.
Okay, well, I will say this. Polyamory definitely caught a big wave over the last several years. Like into the mainstream. And I feel like anybody practicing this lifestyle has a death wish. Like it's only a matter of time before one of your romantic partners is going to get jealous, freak out, and shank you in the shower, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I have a level of respect for the polyamorists, is that it's living dangerously, like Austin Powers. But also, it's funny to me because when this wave like started to build, probably 2017 is when I really started to hear a lot about couples that were practicing polyamory. We had one on the show even, a polyamorist who was actively in a polyamory relationship and explained it to us. And I'm going to give you one shot at guessing whether or not that relationship is still going. It's not. Oh. You didn't guess yes or no.
I thought that was a question for the audience. I thought that was a question for the audience.
No, it's that couple is no longer practicing polyamory because it's fucking insane. And I don't know how people think they're going to pull this off any more than I think. In fact, I would argue the polygamists, at least they're making a full-blown commitment
that's true.
To the lifestyle. True, Polyamorists are just like, no rules, man. Everything will be fine. And it's like, will it?
That's a good point. Yeah,
will it?
The polyamorists... they're getting greedy. They want all the benefits with none of the drawbacks that make it less risky.
Yeah, but then there's the shanking.
Yeah.
Which inevitably is coming. If you're a polyamorist listening right now, maybe it's time to put on some mithril.
With how much you respect them, I'm surprised they are only honorable mention.
Lord of the Rings joke there for you. Well, when I get to the rest of my list, you'll understand why they only made the honorable mention. Number 2, after the hippies at number 1, furries.
Oh, duh.
I almost forgot to include them at all, which was a moment of shame for me. But yeah, furries. And if you have not, for some reason, like if this is your first episode of RBP and you're like, what's a furry? We are a furry podcast, and we often promote furry education on this show. A furry describes a diverse community of fans, artists, writers, gamers, and role players who create for themselves an anthropomorphized animal character, otherwise known as a fursona, with whom they identify and can function as an avatar within the community. Some furries wear elaborate costumes called fursuits, or paraphernalia such as animal ears or tails, which is what Jared does, or represent themselves as anthropomorphic animals in online communities. The furries at number 2.
I've got a question.
Yeah.
In furry culture, are you supposed to get circumcised, or do you keep your fur skin?
I wish I knew. I wish I knew the answer to that. I don't. We're gonna have to refer to our furry audience and get some answers from the actual furries themselves. Number 3, juggalos. Juggalos are a group of lower-class outsiders who resist societal norms but are bonded by their common love of friendship, individualism, and music, it says.
Specifically, Insane Clown Posse, right?
Yeah, and the other bands on that record label, apparently.
Now, one big thing that gets overlooked about juggalos is they do have the best taste in soda. Faygo, bang for your buck, is one of the best soda brands. They have like every flavor you can imagine.
What?
And it's very cheap.
What is it called?
Faygo.
Faygo?
Faygo, yeah. Faygo is like the unofficial or official soda brand of juggalos.
Damn, this is this looks like shit you buy just to mix with liquor.
No, Faygo's good. We used to drink that growing up. The Faygo Orange. That's
I don't know
favorite.
if we have this in my region. Do you see Faygo at like the gas stations in Austin?
No, I feel like usually
definitely
it's
a Florida thing.
I think it's like
right?
a Sam's Club and Costco thing.
Huh. Faygo. I mean, it looks like someone was designing a knockoff soda label. That's what
It's been around for a long time.
Any more Juggalo information here? Although Juggalos view themselves as family who faces struggles together. In 2011, the FBI put a damper on their subculture by classifying them as a gang. Whether it be because of their clown face paint, hatchet man symbol, or song lyrics with deeper meanings, after the FBI report was placed, society began to fear this now gang-involved subculture. It says the FBI reported that Juggalos are a violent gang, often involved with criminal activity. This classification disrupted Juggalo events and gatherings as many members lost their jobs and cities were scared to host Juggalo events.
Wow.
But they continue to stand together and support each other after the FBI stuff, and it says there was no denying that this FBI report negatively affected their already poverty-driven lives. Also feels like they're taking a lot of economic shots at the Juggalos
call
here.
them like low...
Poverty-driven, lower-class outsiders.
I have friends who have gone to Insane Clown Posse concerts, and they were like, honestly, I didn't know what to expect going there, but the crowd was like the most welcoming group of like concert goers. Not like, if you go to a
that's how a lot of cults are, though. They're real welcoming. They want you to come on in. Everything's going to be fine. And then the next thing you know, Tim Allen's flashing his penis at you.
Yeah, I guess.
That's how it goes. My number 4 is straight edge. Often affiliated with the hardcore punk scene, straight edge people abstain from alcohol, tobacco, recreational drugs, and promiscuous sex, which immediately discludes Jared from being able to be a part of it.
Oh, yeah.
Some also abstain from caffeine or follow a vegan or vegetarian diet. I am some level of straight edge now. I don't know what level, though. Because I don't drink, I don't do drugs anymore.
But you still have promiscuous sex.
So I just you can't make the same joke as me, Jared. I just made the joke that you were the promiscuous sex guy.
Yeah, well, with me. No, here's what I'm, to your point, Ross.
Yes.
Do you have to be, how many of these things do you have to be straight edge? Do you have to have is it like two and you're in? You can't just be one. You can't just be like, oh yeah, I refrain from drugs. I'm straight edge. It's like,
no, that doesn't work. Yeah, you have to not drink or do drugs, I think. Those are the two that have to be there, the prerequisites. But I'm also I'm not a hardcore punk guy. But does punk even, this is going to upset people, but does punk even exist anymore?
Yes.
Like who? What
do you mean who?
Who's the biggest punk band of 2022, 2023? What's the year?
Well, are you saying straight up punk? Because punk goes in waves, right? Like Beach Bunny is an example of they're more like kind of sad punk, but they're very popular right now. I enjoy them.
I know Green Day, I mean, this list is so fucking lame.
Do you include pop punk, My Chemical Romance?
Yeah, but they've been around for 30 years. That's what I'm saying. Where's the new wave of punk? Green Day, The Offspring, Paramore, Fall Out Boy. They're all old and decrepit.
Well, it's okay. What's the new wave of hippie?
Dropkick Murphys.
What's the new wave of hippie? You play the hits. All these countercultures. You just play the hits. The stoners. It's Bob Marley. Just play the hits, dude.
Yeah,
you don't have to keep replacing it with new bands.
But there's new stoner and hippie music for sure.
Yeah, but you just, it's at least 50% the hits, and then you just kind of cycle through the new stuff as it's good. It's my take.
Play the hits, baby. My number 5 is Doomsday Preppers.
I do respect them. I have Doomsday prepped once in my life. It was pre-COVID. I went into a CVS and I bought the beanie weenie, the beans with the hot dogs in it in a can. Yeah, I bought some of that.
What? Stop for a second.
I loaded up on
No, before you move forward, what the hell is beanie weenie?
It was all the other stuff had already been Doomsday prepped, so I had to get
I'm asking a serious question. What is a beanie weenie?
Beans and weens. It's beans and weenies.
Beans and weenies and small hot dogs.
Yes. Or
mixed
chopped up hot dogs
in a can.
Yes, in a can. What's so hard to understand about this?
That's what the juggalos eat.
Beanie weenie. I got that. I got just a can of refried beans. I got some Dinty Moore beef stew, and I got a bunch of random. I just grabbed whatever I could find. I grabbed a bottle of zinc. I don't even know what zinc does.
How
but
are
I was
you alive?
I feel like zinc. It's a precious metal. I don't know. Maybe.
I mean, between the beanie weenies and Faygo, I don't understand how you're still breathing.
Well, I never ate the beanie weenie. I threw it out. It was just in case COVID.
You're a terrible doomsday
prepper. It was in case COVID
you don't
became
ever
Last
throw
of
it
Us.
out. You don't throw it out. You gotta say it's just for in case the doomsday happens, which could be any day now.
Well, I didn't have room.
Because all the Faygo in the cabinet.
Faygo Orange and Faygo Grape are extremely good. Better than Fanta.
I can't believe you bought beanie weenies, dude. Yeah. That's just you describing it kind of made my tummy hurt.
Here's what happened. I remember talking at work, my old job, to this guy who was he was early COVID. He was tracking it from when it was still in China and that cruise ship thing happened. He's like, dude, it's coming and it's gonna be bad, man. I was like, you're kind of crazy. But why not just go and do a little bit of doomsday prepping? I walk into CVS, grab the beanie weenie.
Just a little bit.
Grab 2 bottles of zinc. I grabbed some Airborne, that was gonna fucking do anything.
What the fuck is zinc?
It's zinc.
But what is that?
It's an element.
Just
I don't know. It's a pills. I don't know what they do.
Just a bottle of zinc?
I don't know what they do. It was there. I was like, ooh, you know what? If their world goes to shit, I'm gonna be happy I have this zinc.
It says it helps with metabolism on Google.
Sure, I didn't know that. I grabbed Airborne.
I just don't understand the decision making to go with
get whatever you can get.
Beanie weenies and zinc.
There was a lot more stuff I got.
The most unhealthy option man has ever concocted, and then also something to counter it. Was that your brain mindset there?
I got those chicken stock. I got a ton of shit. Those chicken stock cubes in case I wanted to make broth. I got, what else did I get? So, some gummy vitamins, some Tylenol, I got a bunch of Sudafed, as many as they legally allow me to buy without thinking I'm making meth with it.
That's a small amount these days.
It was 3 packs. I believe.
Yeah, 2 or 3 usually.
I think I got some.
I know, because I got to take like 25 different trips and exit counties and go to different areas of the state just to get enough for my meth.
Yeah, I got some big things: Gatorade, some tissues.
Remember when we almost ran out of toilet paper? There was like a short. That was fucked up. I was wiping my ass with like sandpaper at one point.
That's the worst option.
Yeah,
I don't think I ever ended up wiping my ass with anything but tissues. We definitely use tissues.
Yeah, but that's fine. It's so
better.
close.
It's better.
It is.
It's just
better.
more expensive.
Yeah.
If you can afford it. If you can afford it, you should be wiping your ass with tissues all the time.
I'm on the same page as you here. I agree. Every once in a while, I'll be in a bathroom where there's no more toilet paper, and I'm like, oh, there's Kleenex right here, and then I just wipe my ass with that, and I'm like, what have we been doing?
Yeah, dude, like Puffs Plus on that B-hole, man.
Oh, God, yeah.
It feels fucking, nice little lotion. Now, I don't know if we have the RBP plumber gang can let us know if that's extremely bad for your septic system.
I know it's not good.
It can't be. They're like they're thick.
Yeah, I do a lot that's not good for my septic system.
Do you flush baby wipes that are not flushable?
No, they say they're flushable.
The ones you get to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't believe them. Like, I believe that, and I still do it, but like as I'm doing it, I'm like, I wonder how far up the pipe this one's going to get me. Like, it's just, just moving down.
Exactly. And the further down it goes, the more room there is to clog on top of it. So it makes enough sense. Now, to that point,
that's so gross.
I've bought a lot of baby wipes in my day, and there's 2 things they usually say on them. Sometimes they say flushable, which that doesn't mean anything. I could flush whatever the fuck I want. Everything is flushable. It doesn't mean this might fuck your shit up.
My cell phone is flushable.
Yeah, it's flushable.
You know?
Now, the other thing they say is plumber approved. You just pay the plumber. Hey, plumber. Hey, one plumber ever. Here's $20. Approve this. Okay.
Yeah, this reminds me of those commercials where it's like approved by doctors everywhere, and I'm like, yeah, okay, but like in the 60s, doctors were all smoking cigarettes in their offices. Exactly. So like, what does that mean?
Exactly. So,
and like you said, you get one guy to sign off on it, and suddenly it's approved by plumbers. Like, I don't know about that.
Yeah. So I think baby wipes are probably bad, but but they feel so good.
Yeah, God, it's like a real treat.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that comes with
that cold too. That feeling of like the cold, clean wipe on your tool hole.
And when you,
I don't know how we got to this, but what was doomsday prepping?
Oh, doomsday. Yeah,
you are the worst doomsday prepper of all time.
I mean, I ended up eating a lot of that stuff. So remember the Austin Freeze?
Yeah,
that was another doomsday we had. I didn't prep for that one, but luckily I prepped for COVID.
It's funny because nobody prepped for that one.
Yeah. And so I ended up eating a bunch of the shit that I bought for COVID prep for the Austin Freeze. I didn't eat the Beanie Weenie. Those never made it. They threw those out again.
I remember when COVID was like becoming, that like 2-3 week period there where people were like, well, maybe this is actually a serious thing. And but by the end of the 3 weeks, like you couldn't go outside anymore. I remember being in my house and I knew people that were like, I'm going to get this, I'm going to get that, I'm going to go pick up some more Beanie Weenies. And I was just like, I don't give a fuck. Let it take me. That's where I was in life, though. I did not care at all. I was like, I'll be in here smoking weed and gaming if anybody needs me. And then I just stayed in there for 1,000 hours and played video games on Twitch.
So going back to
I survived.
Going back to straight edge, how straight edge are you right now? Of all the things you said, are you every one of those?
I mean, I guess technically, no. I'm not. I won't tell you which ones I'm not. But I obviously don't. I'm 5 years and change dry from alcohol. I haven't smoked in 3 months. And so that's like, look, for me, that's as straight edge as it gets. I'm just out here sober.
I think people would call you straight edge at that point.
Being straight edge, like Tyler, the Creator.
Is he straight edge?
He was at one point. I don't know if he is anymore.
Do you remember the symbol for straight edge? I remember this.
It's not the hatchet man. That's the Juggalos.
It's lowercase s, capital X, lowercase e.
This is real?
Yeah, I remember, and it says sexy, and I always thought that was weird. But like, I remember in middle school, people would like have that in their AIM bio.
See, we didn't have this, man. Like, I don't think people in my generation knew that was even a thing when I was in middle school or high school or college. Nobody ever mentioned it.
Really?
Yeah, I never heard anything about straight edge. Everybody was fucked up back in my day.
Yeah, I was. I would say like in high school, I was like the involuntary version of straight edge. It's like
Just weren't cool.
Just wasn't cool. What's that? If incel is involuntary celibate, what's in straight?
Yeah.
Involuntarily straight edge.
That was a lot of people, though.
Yeah. Why didn't incels make your favorite?
I wish, honestly, if I could go back and do it again, I would be involuntarily straight edge in high school, because that was not a healthy time period for your boy. I did not treat my body with respect, Jared. I was shoveling beanie weenies down my gullet and pounding every alcohol I could get my hands on. It was not a good thing. It was a bad thing.
What do you...
But I survived it just like COVID.
Part of me wishes I had eaten the beanie weenie just to know...
Yeah, I kind of wish you had too.
What it's like. Because I'm trying to think about like the mouthfeel of that. You got beans and weenie.
I feel like I ate some of these when I was a kid. Like at one point, somebody served me up some beanie weenies. One of my lower class friends, you know.
Well, I mean,
one of my juggalo buddies.
There's really no difference between SpaghettiOs and Chef Boyardee and beanie weenie. It's just one of them is beans and weenies.
It's all, well, that's the difference, you know. One of them's circular noodles in the shape of an O, and one of them is beans and weenies.
Yeah.
Which is just, I don't even want to know what you're Googling right now. What could you
Google
possibly
beanie
be?
weenie. So Van Camp's is the brand of beanie weenie. I think the reason I got them is because it's one of the only canned proteins I could find at the CVS. I was like, oh shit, there's meat and beans. It's a lot of protein. If the doomsday happens, I'll need that shit.
I have 100% had beanie weenies before. I'm now looking at a photo, and I think my parents used to. My family is not good with food growing up. My wife, on the other hand, now phenomenal, but like my mom and dad did not know what the fuck was happening. Like my dad famously taught me how only to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And I think my mom tried to teach me how to make mac and cheese, and the one time I did it myself, I almost burnt the house down. Like, I still remember the flames.
Yeah.
So, but I specifically remember putting these beanie weenies in my mouth at one point.
But they're cheap, dude. $1.35 for a can of beanie weenie.
It looks like it looks like if you got like binoculars and stared down into the depths of a porta potty at a music festival, this is what you would see.
And the crazy thing is, if we hit 1,000 patrons on patreon.com/Ross Bolen podcast this month, Ross will do a beanie weenie bong.
I won't do a bong, but I'll eat a large bowl of them and review them bite by bite on Patreon in a Patreon exclusive video. If we hit 1,000, we only need 100 more people.
Less than 100 more, like 95 more.
If you're there, if you're listening and you're like, I want to see Ross eat a whole bowl of beanie weenies, there's only one way to make that happen. And it's by going to patreon.com/Ross Bolen podcast today and joining so we can get to 1,000 patrons. And I'll eat a whole big old bowl of beanie weenies.
Hell yeah.
Wouldn't that be a treat for all of us? Today's episode is also brought to you by MyBookie, our online sportsbook and casino sponsor here on the Ross Bolen podcast. If you're looking for a place to get all the action you can handle during the rest of the NFL playoffs, or to bet on the Super Bowl, which is coming up just around the corner, or the remainder of the NBA season, golf, MMA, boxing, whatever professional sport your heart desires, all your sports betting needs are taken care of at mybookie.ag. They've got all the prop bets, live lines, alternate lines, and futures that you could possibly want as well. And right now, if you join the MyBookie family using the code ROSS at checkout to support the show, you'll instantly receive a deposit bonus, giving you even more dough to throw at your favorite sporting event. The website, it's awesome on desktop and mobile, incredibly easy to use, beautifully laid out. Plus, they have an online casino with roulette, live blackjack, and more, so you can actually see the dealer dealing the cards to you, or the roulette ball dropping person dropping the roulette ball onto the wheel. I don't know what they're called, but it's pretty awesome. So what are you waiting for if you're already betting on sports elsewhere? And you're down to do so on a great platform that also supports your favorite podcast. It's code ROSS at mybookie.ag. That's the way to do it, folks. When you use code ROSS, you unlock a deposit bonus so you can have even more dough to throw. Stipulations apply. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. All right, let's hit some more insane headlines because there's been some hilarious shit in the news that gets unjustly overlooked, and I will not stand for that kind of ignorance, J-Bone.
No, you don't.
First one, young thug handed Percocet in court by co-defendant. So are you familiar with Young Thug?
Is he the guy from that meme where he's standing over the mixing board?
That is him.
Okay,
that is Young Thug.
The only thing I know about.
That's a great ID by you, J-Bone.
Thank you.
So Young Thug, he got arrested with another rapper named Gunna several months back for a RICO case, which is like what they tried to arrest Tony Soprano for. It's organized crime. It's not good. It's not what you want to get picked up for by the feds, because it means they've put a lot of money, energy, and effort into watching your ass for a really fucking long time.
Building a case.
Building an incredibly intricate case most of the time when you're talking about a RICO predicate. So, from Rolling Stone, Young Thug allegedly received a Percocet pill from one of the co-defendants in his RICO case during a hand-to-hand drug transaction in open court. But his lawyer says the Grammy-winning rap star had no idea what was happening and has been cleared of any wrongdoing. So there's videos. Every court hearing has surveillance footage, right? And, well, not every single one, but this one does. And you can actually watch this dude walk by him and like slap a perk into his hand, and then Young Thug like drops his hand below the desk, and then immediately a bailiff comes over and is like, it's like watching a kid in school in 6th grade get caught for passing notes. The teacher comes over and is like, give me that note, except it's a Percocet in court. Like, the judge is in there, everybody's in there, the cameras are in there. I don't understand how you could possibly think you're going to get away with this.
Was the idea that he would just take it?
I don't know. I guess
be on Percocet for the trial. I don't.
Apparently, he doesn't even know the guy. That's one of the funny things about the story. Like, him and his attorneys have said point blank he does not know this person. But it says on Rolling Stone, in a motion filed Thursday, Fulton County prosecutors allege Khalif Adams, one of Young Thug's 13 co-defendants at his gang conspiracy trial, now underway, with jury selection in Atlanta, walked up to the musician during a Wednesday hearing and passed off the pill in a brazen handoff caught by a courtroom surveillance camera. Young Thug, whose real name is Jeffrey Williams, does not even know Mr. Adams, his lawyer Brian Steele says. Video of the incident was obtained by WSB-TV, showing the alleged handoff, with the sheriff's office personnel immediately approaching Young Thug to retrieve the alleged narcotic. Prosecutors say sheriff's personnel searched Adams, the guy who handed it off, who is serving a life sentence for a murder conviction, which now makes more sense. You're going to try to get away with whatever at that point. But they recovered Percocet, marijuana, tobacco, and other contraband wrapped in plastic and food seasonings to mask the owner of the marijuana. Adams was then taken to Grady Hospital after he appeared to ingest other items of contraband that he held on his person in an effort to conceal the extent of his crimes within the courtroom. So that's confusing.
Well, you can actually see, I watched the surveillance footage, and you can actually see the moment where they're about to get, what's his name, Khalif, what's his name?
Mr. Adams.
Mr. Adams, the guy who handed the Percocet to Young Thug.
Yeah.
You can see the moment where they realize they're about to pin him for having Beanie Weenies, and he chugs the entire can of Beanie Weenie right there in the
just
courtroom.
throws them back?
Yeah, he just, and they get his stomach pumped.
You got to get to the hospital as quickly as possible if you're going to chug a whole can of Beanie Weenies. You can eat a large bowl of them safely.
Yeah.
I would note, but you can't chug from the can, straight from the can. There's juices in there that you don't want inside of your person. Yeah.
Nobody's licking the bowl clean. That's ugh.
I don't understand though. It's like you're serving a life sentence. You're so brazen at this point that you're handing off drugs in open court, but then you're getting caught and you're like, shit, I better down some of these before they pop me with more time. Like, what does it matter at that point?
It also makes it sound like he didn't expect to get caught,
which is again. Just, I don't know, not the best brain on Mr. Adams. No. It doesn't sound like. Next headline. Houston's infamous McDonald's by the downtown Greyhound bus station has finally closed.
You ever been there?
Nope, because I value my life. From the Houston Chronicle, McDonald's restaurants come and go, but one particular location's closure has longtime Houston residents reeling. The infamous arches on the 2000 block of Main Street next to downtown's Greyhound bus station came down over the winter break. This restaurant had been around for decades. Commenters on 2 different Reddit threads were quick to point out the location's less than stellar reputation, including a few of its nicknames. Here are some of the nicknames of this McDonald's that closed down. Crack Donald's. This one's my favorite. McStabby. And then the last one, Chaos McDonald's, which is just lacking in creativity.
Yeah, you can't go from like good to best to by far the worst.
But Chaos McDonald's just does kind of sound like a place that I would want to go. Like, what's happening in there?
Why did they add the BY? Why is it stab? Why is it not McStab or McStabbing? Why is it McStabby?
I don't know, but I fucking love it. It makes me wish that I had gone at some point. Crack Donald's, very, very funny, but also sad. McStabby, all the way hilarious. Like, what in the fuck? And then Chaos McDonald's just absolute chaos.
Isn't that Irish boat captain? Captain McStabby?
It says the sentiments of these nicknames are largely reflected by the Chronicle and the Houston Post's coverage of the restaurant and its surrounding area over the years. Stories of homelessness, prostitution, murder, and shootings made up the majority of our archives. So apparently this McDonald's was quite infamous, had been reported on many, many times over the decades for having different incidents occur inside of it or around it or near it. But yeah, you're hard-pressed to find a restaurant that's got a better set of nicknames than Crack Donald's, McStabby, and Chaos McDonald's.
Well, yeah, it's sad
Good
to
stuff.
see it go, I guess.
Yeah, fucking Houston institution, gone forever. Next headline. Lincoln ice cream joint unveils chili and cinnamon roll flavor.
God damn it.
Yeah, I know. It's back. From KLKN TV, an interesting flavor of ice cream will soon be available at a local shop. 402 Creamery out of Lincoln has teased the new ice cream flavor, chili and cinnamon roll, in partnership with Runza Restaurants. The popular ice cream shop says the Dream Midwest collaboration will be available beginning January 26th. Of course, the combo is a Nebraska tradition that recently received some attention from Food Network host Alton Brown when he untraditionally poured the chili on top of the cinnamon roll, which is the thing we've been arguing about on this show for roughly 6 months.
Well, good thing we didn't claim that that's how it's done, because apparently we would have gotten dragged.
This sounds like some Nathan Fielder shit, though. You know how he does
He did an
on
episode
Fielder for
Yeah, but
You?
it was poop flavored.
He has them make the poop-flavored ice cream, and it actually ends up working.
Yeah.
Like that business was booming as a result. This is like a more applicable, normal version of that idea, I think. Chili and cinnamon roll flavor.
Still copied him, though.
Yeah. He deserves credit, which is why I'm giving it to him.
Do you think there's going to be chunks of ground beef in this ice cream?
Why don't you make a fucking beanie weenie flavor of ice cream and get rich, Jared? That's the question.
What people really need to think about, though, is like, what are the chunks, right? Are there chunks of bean and ween, or is it bean flavored ice cream with ween chunks?
Why are you saying chunks over and over? Hashtag chunks. Next and final headline. Schools are blocking Chat GPT.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with this? Have you heard about this?
I've heard enough.
You know
about
what
it.
Chat GPT
Yeah,
is?
It's an AI thing.
But you can tell it like, write me a segment of the podcast, and it'll do that.
Did you do that?
Yeah, this whole show so far was written by Chat GPT. This story from learningenglish.voanews.com says, ask the new artificial intelligence AI tool ChatGPT to write about the cause of the American Civil War, and you can watch it produce a school report in just seconds. The technology is so good that it can write sentences like ones written by a human, and it is also free. The tool has been used since November, but is already raising tough questions about the future of AI in education, the tech industry, and a number of professions, including ours, frankly. New York City school officials recently started blocking the writing tool on school devices and networks for obvious reasons, I would say, right?
Yeah.
Because you could just be like, I have a paper on the old man in the sea, write it.
And then you can also say, like, make it less plagiarized.
Yeah.
Like, reword it. So now I'm wondering, like, here's what we should do to make the infinite money tree, okay?
Yeah, okay.
Make a YouTube account. It's like, oh, the history of the world. And I'm just gonna be like, okay, tell me about how Abe Lincoln became president, and just keep running it. And then I'm just gonna use one of those automatic voice things where I put the text in there, and then you just gotta make the video.
Where's the money coming from?
YouTube.
For who's watching this video?
Oh, everybody.
History books exist that tell the story of how Abe Lincoln got elected.
You gotta get
president.
on history YouTube, dude. Place is bussin'.
But what? Yeah, but that's like for entertainment purposes. You think people are researching using YouTube? It would take even longer than just reading.
No, for entertainment, I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
We could make an entertaining YouTube account, but it's just ChatGPT, and then we just make the video, and then all the audio and the text is made by an AI.
You just have to say, and now make it more entertaining.
Yes.
And then it gives you that draft, and you say, and now make it even more entertaining. Yeah. And you do that like 4 or 5 times, and by the end of it, you're going to have a real laugh factory there.
Can you just go make it 100 times more entertaining and then just save it some time?
That's an interesting thought. I should have done that with today's episode.
Somebody on Twitter was saying that becoming somebody who puts prompts into an AI bot is going to become a job in itself. Like knowing how to extract the most value out of the input into the AI will be a job.
I feel like if that had ever become a job with like a Googler, I'm very good at Googling. Like I know the set of keywords to use. I know exactly how to get the answer, like first couple results every single time. I never miss. I'm one of the best. But no one ever offered me a position based on that skill set.
I hope that ChatGPT is what finally kills homework. Because they were like, okay, what's the point of fucking giving this kid this shit?
Apparently, so New York City school officials blocked this thing on school devices and networks, and that's the largest school system in the United States, so it could affect how other school systems deal with the technology. It says teachers are now trying to find out how to prevent students using the AI tool for cheating, and the creators of ChatGPT also say they are looking for ways to detect misuse, which... No, they're not. They're not. They have to say that.
Yeah.
Sure, for, the PR. But why the fuck? This is a dream come true for them. Unlimited use by students forever and ever and ever. But also, it is one of the first things I wondered. The first thing I wondered was, how is this going to affect the media industry? Where people can just be like, literally, I want to do a podcast. Let's say it's about the start of the Civil War. I want to do a podcast about how the Civil War started. Write it for me. And then you have a fucking entire script you could just read, and that's the episode. And like 90% of the work is taken out of production. Yep. The second thing I thought about was like, man, cheating in school just got really, really, really easy. Again, if you're good enough at the inputs, right? If you know how to use ChatGPT, you can get some actually pretty ridiculous shit out of there. There was like a month period on Twitter at the end of 2022 where constantly you would see people being like, I had ChatGPT rewrite Back to the Future except where all the characters are Muppets, except for Doc Brown or whatever, and that would have like the entire script, and it was ridiculous, but like people did all kinds of crazy shit and were sending me text messages. I had text groups that were like people were doing ChatGPT shit back and forth. It was out of control, and now it's infiltrated the schools, J-Bone, which is just crazy.
That's the AI though.
It is going to take our jobs. Eventually people cease to be employed because AI and robots will do all of the jobs, and we'll all just be at home plugged into the metaverse, jacking it.
I think that this kind of technology will take a lot of jobs, but like, and it'll take a lot of like the non. Like in content though, people are it's the personality, it's the human to human connection you feel with the content creator. A lot of times, not all the time.
Yeah, but this is the thing. There's those freaking AI pop stars and rappers in Japan or whatever, South Korea rather.
Those.
And they have like millions of followers and legitimately like millions of streams on Spotify, and they don't even exist. They don't even exist. Kids buy concert tickets to go watch a fucking hologram of them like beamed up onto the stage or whatever. Future is now, bitch, and it's not good.
Are you excited to bring a child into this world?
Not with this stuff. That's why I'm going to homeschool my kid and have him be a juggalo. Protect him from the evils of the world and ChatGPT.
You need to get some Faygo then. It's good. You like soda. You're a soda guy.
I'm going to raise my son on Faygo and Beanie Weenies after this episode.
That's a great way to raise him.
Yeah. Grow up strong like you. Strong like J-Bone. Today's episode is also brought to you by Liquid IV. If you're trying to improve your health, hydration is a great place to start, and Liquid IV is the hydration brand that fuels your well-being. In just one stick, you get 5 essential vitamins and 2 times faster hydration than if you were just drinking water alone. Use it first thing in the morning before a workout, when you feel run down after a long night out, and on long flights. We have a massive supply of Liquid IV here at Bolen Media, and between Content Kade, J-Bone, and I, we are crushing packets of these things every single day. This pouch that I'm holding in my hand has 16 individual stick packs in it. We're going through like a pouch a week, I would guess. But not only is it incredibly effective as a hydration tool, it tastes phenomenal as well with a variety of great flavors like Concord grape, lemon lime, pina colada, tropical punch, watermelon, strawberry, and passion fruit. 1 stick of Liquid IV and 16 ounces of water hydrates you 2 times faster and more efficiently than water alone. Contains 5 essential vitamins, B3, B5, B6, B12, and vitamin C, with 3 times the electrolytes of traditional sports drinks. Made with premium ingredients, non-GMO, and free from gluten, dairy, and soy. Liquid IV is also on a mission to change the world, having donated over 25 million servings in 50-plus countries around the world. Grab your Liquid IV in bulk nationwide at Costco, or you can get 20% off when you go to liquidiv.com and use code ROSS at checkout. That's 20% off anything you order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code ROSS at liquidiv.com. Liquidiv.com, promo code Ross. Jared, we once did an episode complaining about the oversaturation of Ed Sheeran. And to Ed's credit, I feel like since we did that episode, he has been less all over the place and kind of given us a break from seeing his face constantly. I feel like that phase of oversaturation of Ed Sheeran began with the Game of Thrones cameo, which is still, in hindsight, one of the most ridiculous decisions ever made by a showrunner. They were like, this won't be distracting at all. We'll just put Ed Sheeran in an episode. Or I guess in this case, a pair of showrunners, Benioff and Weiss, and that should have served as like a warning for all of us that they were probably going to fumble the ball down the stretch there. But anyway, my reasoning for bringing up Ed today is that I was listening to the best song he's ever recorded.
Castle on the Hill.
That is correct. And the bridge came on. You know the bridge?
Yes. It's an interesting bridge.
Okay,
Is
so
it real? Are those real people?
the bridge came on, and I was like, "Holy shit!" I mean, I've heard this song 100 times, and it's flagged for me before, like you're describing, like where I was like, "What?"
You just hanging out with friends to drive.
This is legitimately. I was like, "Holy shit!" Ed Sheeran has no idea how to connect with normal, everyday people anymore. Because listen to this bridge. One friend left to sell clothes. One works down by the coast. One had 2 kids, but lives alone. One's brother overdosed. One's already on his second wife. One's just barely getting by. But these people raised me, and I can't wait to go home. What? How the fuck were those the exact? One friend left to sell clothes. All right. Little bit weird. Pretty specific profession. I don't know what you mean by they left to sell clothes. Did they have to go to an area that was more clothing friendly, clothing sales friendly?
Okay, I have no idea about where Ed Sheeran is from, but I picture he's from a small Irish town like the Banshees of Inisherin.
Yeah, that's exactly where I picture him growing up.
And he left. That friend went on the boat like the sister.
Yeah, he's from Halifax. It's in the Metropolitan Bureau of Calderdale in West Yorkshire, England.
Oh, he's English. Okay.
So, I don't know. I feel like I've heard of Halifax. Like, that has to be a big...
Well, it's the capital of Nova Scotia.
Is it?
Yeah, which is in Canada.
What?
Yeah. It's a different city. It's named after that one.
There's 2 Halifaxes?
Yeah.
Halifaxi?
Yeah.
Whatever. But one friend left to sell clothes. One works down by the coast. And then he starts getting he's just taking pot shots at people. One had 2 kids but lives alone. I couldn't find another there was no other differentiating detail about this guy except that he's got 2 kids, but he got a divorce clearly, and now he lives by himself and doesn't get to see the kids. One's brother overdosed? That's it? That's the story of that friend? His fucking brother overdosed? One's already on his second wife. Again, a little judgy.
That's you.
It's me. But one's just barely getting by.
That's me.
Are three of them the same guy? Like, is the guy who works down at the coast also the guy who has 2 kids but lives alone, his brother overdosed, and he's just barely getting by? I hope so.
No, he said one friend.
You're right. It's very specific.
Now, here's the
one.
thing.
One.
Now, you might be like, okay, wow, he's really hanging his friends out to dry, just outing them, outing all their dirty laundry. And even then, it's for art, whatever. But the word that gets me is but.
Yeah.
But these people, implying, wow, those guys.
These are a bunch of fuck-ups.
These are a bunch of fuck-ups, but they raised me, so I can't wait to go see them.
Fuck these people. They're a mess. But my childhood memories involve all of them, so I can't wait to go home.
Literally, he could take the word but out. And it doesn't change the song, doesn't change the rhythm. He could just say, these people raised me.
He had a lot of options here, and he picked the weirdest possible one by including the word but, by including a bunch of like one-off disses in the fucking 6 consecutive lines about one random friend and their misfortunate lives. Unfortunate
this guy's
misfortunes.
got 2 kids and lives alone, but he raised me, so can't wait to go see him.
This fucker's brother overdosed. What a loser family, but still. Childhood memories. I can't wait to go home.
Kind of fucked up Ed Sheeran. I don't know. But it's still his best song and one of the best songs of the last 10 years.
One works down by the coast. The first one left to sell clothes. He knows what he left for. He left to sell clothes. The other one, what is the work he's doing down by the coast? You didn't even know? You didn't even ask? You didn't look into it. You started with a specific employment detail. This one friend left to sell clothes. Then the next one just works down by the coast.
I bet he works at a Chippy.
It's just weird, man. The whole verse is weird. I think Ed has been A-list famous for so long that he legitimately doesn't know what normal people do in life.
Is he still the number?
Jared just knocked a first edition season 1 DVD of Burn Notice off of the shelf behind him.
My elbow hit the wall as I went to look up if Ed Sheeran was still. Oh,
Value just cut in half there.
Well, it opened up. Oh my God, what is that? Oh, it's a.
Is it Beanie Weenies in there?
There's no Beanie Weenies. Look. It's a secure. It's one of the security things because somebody was gonna fucking steal first.
Did you steal this first edition?
No, I didn't steal it. It would have gone off when I left the store.
We had to take the plastic off to put it up on the shelf today because we didn't want it to glare with the lights in the studio, and that value decreased 50% when we did that, and then he just knocked it off the shelf. Now it's down to like 20%.
Just so people know what this is in my hand that I hit off the wall by hitting my elbow into the wall, which what a weird vibration that caused. This is Burn Notice, the complete first season 4-disc set. CD
couldn't fit it on one disc.
CD technology was so bad in
What year was
2007, I believe.
Does it have like a copyright on the bottom there?
It says 2007, but this is 2009. Wait, so I guess if 2009 existed,
Yeah, but you go with the earliest number on
What if
there.
2009 existed at that point?
Well, yeah, that's a
Why
good.
the fuck would I?
Yeah, yeah.
You think it's the year 2007 and they're just going, hey, we're still going to have the copyright in 2 years. Let's just slap 2009 on there.
Yeah, might as well.
Anyways, oh my God, I'm in a fucking mess right now. I just hit the mic.
You're falling
stand
apart,
over.
dude. Back to my segment. Well, okay, so you say, what are you doing? Are you going to read the back of this thing?
Yes.
Great.
Okay, if you said this might be my last time recording with you in studio.
My mistake for putting this on the shelf behind you.
Yeah, so it's only right that I use this platform to read what is on the back of Burn Notice, the complete first season 4-disc set. It's on 4 discs. There's 11 episodes, by the way, and they had to put them across 4 different discs.
That's what they do. I specifically remember watching like first 3 seasons of Curb Your Enthusiasm on DVD, and you get like 3-4 episodes per disc, and then it's on to the next disc, and that's it.
Okay, here we go. Quote from the Boston Herald. With its humor and engaging characters, Burn Notice will likely keep viewers trapped, willingly, week after week.
Great joke there from that reviewer.
Boston Herald. Here we go. Covert intelligence operative Michael Weston has been punched, kicked, choked, and shot. Now he's being burned, and someone's going to pay. When Michael receives a burn notice, blacklisting him from the intelligence community and compromising his very identity, he must track down a faceless nemesis without getting himself killed in the process.
Wow.
Meanwhile, Michael is forced to double as a private investigator on the dangerous streets of Miami in order to survive. Fully loaded with sly humor, Burn Notice is a fresh spin on the spy genre with plenty of precarious twists to keep you guessing and enough explosive action to keep you riveted.
Riveted and hard, I assume. When you read something like that, it makes me remember, like, I feel like in the late 90s, early 2000s, it really didn't take much to get a TV show made.
No.
Like, that is the most basic-ass premise of all time. But nowadays, in the golden era of TV and streaming, there's so much competition.
Now, here's the thing, though. There's never been a show like Burn Notice before or after. It's the best show of all time. And
yes, that is the most original TV show ever made.
I mean, if people think it's a joke, I promise you. If you watch Burn Notice, the whole series, you're not going to be like, man, that sucked. I really didn't enjoy that. It's a little bit campy, sure.
A little bit.
It's
a little bit. On the front of the DVD, it says, "Spies don't get fired. They get burned."
They do. It's true. And then his love interest is holding a gun, but behind her back, as if he can't see it.
That's symbolism there. You know what I mean? Like, she's hot, so they're going to get it on, but he needs to be careful because she's holding that pistol behind her back just below her asshole in a menacing fashion.
Best show ever. Go watch it.
Anyway, that was Burn Notice.
Anyway, Ed Sheeran. Back to Ed Sheeran.
Oh, yeah. Also, Castle on a Hill was written with, guess who?
Benny Blanco. Yeah.
You nailed it. You nailed it, Jared. Benny Blanco, because of course Benny Blanco was in on this. That dude is a walking hit machine. He's half the hits in the last 10 years were written by Benny Blanco or co-written by Benny Blanco. But he has also been wealthy and in LA for so long that I have to imagine he has no fucking idea what everyday, normal, lower class juggalos like us do on a regular basis, which contributed to the bizarre nature of this bridge where he just takes shots at everyone he grew up with and then says, "But These people raised me and I can't wait to go home. Weird stuff. Great song still. But now every time I listen to it and the bridge comes on, I'm just like, what happened here? Did nobody give notes? Nobody else heard the bridge and went, hey guys, I'm going to be honest with you. This is coming off as a little snooty and elitist. Like, you're being pretty fucking judgmental here, Ed. Not everybody can leave Halifax and go become an international goddamn pop star.
It's like he's being holier than that. He's like, hey, I don't have to hang out with these people, but I'm going to.
I don't have problems, but the people that I grew up with, let me tell you about the shitstorm that's going on back in Halifax, where these losers are just falling apart at the seams. But by the way, just for the record, I can't wait to go home. Finally, if you're looking for a little bit of intern work with Bolen Media, we are trying to find video editors who are good with Adobe Premiere Pro. Currently looking for part-time remote video interns to help us pump out content and as many RBP social media clips as possible. This would be a paid internship after a short trial period to make sure you've got what we need, got what it takes.
Yeah.
To not get burned. So if you're a video editor who loves the show and you want to help us grow, shoot an email to Jared, Jared, J-A-R-E-D, at bolenmedia.com. That's BOLENMEDIA.com. If you can't spell Bolen Media, please don't apply. Jared at bolenmedia.com. Make the subject line RBP intern or RBP video intern. Just one of those two. Pick one of those. And then a paragraph about you and your qualifications, and J-Bone will take it from there. I think we've gotten one or two people.
Three
now. How about that are interested, but we need more.
We need more.
We need many more.
Like, the thing is, like, we will accept as many as are qualified. You're not competing for a position. This is like, we will take as many of you as we can get. So
again, if you're good at Adobe Premiere Pro, you've got some level of experience with it in editing video clips. You've seen our social media clips. You think you could emulate one of those if given the raw footage. Holler at us. We need you. Jared at bolenmedia.com. RBP intern. We appreciate you. And that will do it for today's show. Jared and I will be back on patreon.com/Ross Bolen podcast with another ad-free exclusive episode later this week, barring the birth of my son, I suppose. Hit bolenmedia.com/shop to grab yourself some RBP merch. This episode of the Ross Bolen podcast is presented by Bolen Media, and video of today's show was produced by Kade Orris. Until next time, peace be with you, and also with you.